I named this business after my son. It was supposed to be for him, and he was getting the absolute least of me. I don't have it fully dialed, but it's far better than what it was in the past. Here's what I do tonight. Give your family 1 hour. Phone in another room. Full attention. One genuinely present hour. Watch what it does. I found it hugely impactful. And there was so many times where I'd say to my son, in a minute, mate, I'll be there. But the minute never actually came. I was a little bit sad, and I told myself, I'm going to fix this. He was at the door and he stopped me. And he came out and said, Dad, can you just hang out with me for a little bit? I got to say, I got to go. They know what the answer is, but they're hoping that it's going to be different. I said to him, yeah, mate, I'll stay. It was always supposed to be for my family. I don't want the people that I'm building it for to get the least of me. It was never about being home more. It was about actually when I started my business, I genuinely thought that I'd finally have all the time in the world, but instead I was leaving home at 4 a.m. and coming home, dragging myself back at night with nothing left in the tank. And the people I built the whole thing for, my wife, my kids, they were getting the scraps of what was left. And here's the morning that stopped me in my tracks. By the end of this, you'll know how I stopped handing my family leftovers without easing off the business one bit, because it was never about the hours that I did. It was the hours that I protected. So let me actually show you what it looked like at home. I picture my mornings back then. I was up at 3:30 in the morning, 4 o'clock, an hour and a half drive to the Gold Coast before the sun's even up. And by the time I got home, there was nothing left to give, really. I was drained. I was completely out. So doing that consistently over a long period of time with an hour and a half commute each way, because I was living on a farm at the time, a little bit northwest of the coast, I was gone before the kids woke up, and I was back well before they were asleep. Sometimes I got home early and got to sneak in a dinner, but my head was still on the job site. Like, I was still busy problem solving what was going on site, and the phone really never stopped at that point in my business. And so you know how it is, like every business owner, you're on the phone all day, problem solving, talking to stakeholders, clients, trade, suppliers, your team. And then you get home, and I got home and all I wanted to do was just be quiet. I was done talking. I talked so much over that whole entire time, and I didn't want to say a word to anybody. It got to a point where I was snapping over nothing, because I was just like running on empty, because the work had used up all my patience of problem solving and clients and trade, suppliers, team. Like, you know the drill. Like, before I walked in the door, all my patience was gone. All my problem solving ability was like tapped out. I just wanted to have dinner and go to bed. And there was so many times where I'd say to like my son, it's like, in a minute, mate, I'll be there. But the minute never actually came. And it got to a point where he started to stop asking me for a minute, or for, hey, Dad, what do you think about? Because he just knew what the outcome was. I was a little bit sad actually seeing that. And I told myself it was temporary. Like, I'm going to fix this. I was doing it for him. I was doing it for my family, starting the business. But then one freezing morning, my boy stopped me at the door, and it was about 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning. It was pouring rain. I'd lit the fire before heading off for him. And like always, it was nice and warm, got it going. I left. I was about to leave. I was at the door and he stopped me. He'd woken up this time before I got out. And it was freezing. It was still super dark. And he came out and said, Dad, can you just hang out with me for a little bit? Every part of me in that moment is so, like, I can go back to that right now, just very vividly. In my head, it was like, I got to say I got to go, because I can't be late for whatever perceptive time. I don't want to be late on site for whatever reason. But I looked at him, and his eyes were like, you know, when your kids' eyes, if you have kids, they're about to like well up because they know what the answer is, but they're hoping that it's going to be different. I said to him, yeah, mate, I'll stay. Let's go chill by the fire and hang out. It's raining anyway, right? It was the best 45 minutes ever for a very, very long time that I was present and got to stay with my boy in the morning. I actually put him first, which is what I wanted to do the whole entire time. It hit me when I was sitting on the couch with him. I named this business after my son. It was supposed to be for him, and he was getting the absolute least of me. And years 1 and 2, I had that clear, like, this is just part of growing business. Year 1 and 2, yep, that's just all part of it. Even Laura, my wife, was like, yep, there's going to be some sacrifices to build this company of ours. By year 3 and 4, the business had really become all consuming. And that vision of, I'm doing this for the family so I can have free time, I'd lost it. I was lost inside the business, the operation of it, because on the treadmill of needing to make it work. And the objection that, I kept telling myself was, but if I don't go to work, who's going to pay for all this? Who's going to pay for the mortgage? Who's going to pay for all the repayments? The investments that we want to invest in, setting ourselves up long term. And I'm present in the house. Like, when I get home, I'm there, aren't I? Like, I'm present. I'm not at work. I'll be happy at work to keep pushing it further, and I'll make it up to them when things calm down. I kept telling myself, it's just at the end of this project, I'll have more time. And in building a business, there's never enough time. Things never calm down. It's this illusion that I was telling myself, like after this project or after this quarter or at the end of financial year, I'll have some breathing room and space. So I named the business after my son. It was supposed to be for my family, but somehow they ended up at the very, very back of the queue. So what actually had to change things is not what I expected. And the shift was this. It was never about being home more. It was about actually being home when I was at home. Presence, not hours. And honestly, I thought the answer was fewer hours. It wasn't really possible with a commute on some days when someone wants to have an accident on the highway. Sometimes it's not even on the table. It was about what state personally that I showed up in. Now, there was a moment when Lauren's like, I don't need you to be at home all the time. But when you're at home, actually be here, be there for Kai, be there for me. And I just realized I needed to be more present. I was handing them leftover energy. I was giving my best to everybody else in business, to team, being surrounded by all this busyness and people, and giving the very least to my family that I was actually doing it for. And the fix was protecting some of my best, not just giving them my last. So buying time became the goal, right? So not to work less, but to be the most present I could possibly be in the time that I had available at that time of business. And here's exactly what I did to make that real. So I stopped dragging the worst day through the door, especially after a 90-minute drive. Here's what worked for me. I read a book called The Third Space. Awesome book. Highly recommend it. It's all about creating that time between one meeting or situation to the next. And that third space sits between the first and the second. So if I'm at work and then I'm going home, the third space for me became that drive home as a hard stop. That hour and a half became my decompressive time to go, okay, for the first half an hour, I'm going to get through all my calls. The next half an hour, I'm going to mentally write out a list or dictate a list into my notes of what I want to do tomorrow. And the last half an hour, just listen to music. Do nothing unproductive. Just sit and listen to music or something that I might be interested in to decompress from the work, so that when I came home, my family didn't cop the stress and the residue of what the day brought. When I got home, I started to put my phone in the drawer. Dinner time, bedtime, it didn't come out. Like realistically, what was I going to solve anyway? At the end of the day at 7 p.m. at night, what's the point of checking my emails? And I protected some new family rituals and guarded them. We made some fish and chips on a Thursday, every single Thursday night, no matter what. That time was protected. I put it in my calendar and I made them like client meetings. The morning fire, the dinners, the weekend block, stop working Saturdays, just trying to get it ahead. How can I compress all that time that I thought I had and bring it into a time that's actually manageable long term? And I took real time out of the business. Like there was a Christmas where I took 4 weeks off for the first time ever in like 6-7 years. And it gave me more clarity than going to work every single day thinking I'm going to work it through. And I built the team around that process as well to create more time. So not only was I focusing on being present when I was at home, because when I was at home and I was present and I had more connection with my son, more connection with my wife and my family, and home life felt better, I showed up better as a business owner, and I felt like I had more things under control rather than having unaddressed arguments or disagreements at home with either my son or my wife about, could be something stupid like a dishwasher or not being there to give, time to my wife to actually decompress from the kids as well. When there was uncertainty in the home, there was uncertainty in who I was as a business owner. So solving that problem by being present helped me hugely in being a better business owner as well. And then the team saw that. And I said to the team, and my brother in particular, Jamie, who runs Kai Construct with me, we need to build a moat around what protects and makes us better in the business. And we grew the team strong enough that the business didn't need me in every decision. I empowered Jamie to have more decisions in the business where he knew he was supported, so I could free up more time that I could spend in the business or have more stop gaps that when I got home, they had my full attention when it counts. So the phone was gone. I was actually listening. 10 present minutes I've found with my kids beats 2 hours of not even being there. Being there, but like, yeah, in a minute. Like just because you're there physically, I've worked out that they pick up on that. That's not quality time. So I love this quote from Paul to Sungus is like, nobody on his deathbed ever said, I wish I spent more time in the office. And if I think about that, it's a harsh reality and it's so true. So did it actually work? Did all of this stuff that I'm trying to do actually work? Let me tell you what changed. So what did protecting time actually get me? Well, it was more than I bargained for, to be honest. Like the best thing is my kids started expecting yes again. Business aside, like they're excited when I came home. My boy asked me to hang out. Like as soon as I pull in the driveway, he's like at the door and he's no longer waiting to the car while I'm on a phone showing him that I'm on a phone call. I'll get to you when I get to you. It is, he's home. I open the door. I'm right there present with him. And now I can, because I make that time sacred of like, I'm not available when I get home. My team knows it, the business knows it. And that discipline from it has been fantastic, because Lauren also feels that we're not just ships in a night, or we're not just two people raising a child. Just actually have that connection again in your relationship, which is important. And the kicker, I got sharper at work. Like, I had more mental capacity to perform better at work, because actually, when I got home, I stopped being guilty about it. I could decompress. I could reset myself as a business owner. And then I became fully recharged when I got back into the next day. So for me, the start of this year, I sat down with Jamie and redefined my whole why of like, why are we in business? What are we doing? What's your goal as well about what you want to do? And it was interesting because it all came back to family. Like, we both wanted to spend more time together as brothers. We both wanted to spend more time together with our families and have more personal time as well, because, just as I'd been grinding out of the business, Jamie had been grinding out on site relentlessly. And that clarity only came because I had the opportunity to step back and go over the Christmas holidays and just have some time like, well, what do I want personally? Is this where I want to be going? And that made us step far enough back to go, this is actually what we both personally want. Let's mold the business around it to actually make that work. So taking the 4 weeks out of the business didn't break the business, but it made it better, and it made me better at home. I don't have it fully dialed. Let me tell you, I don't have it fully dialed, but it's far better than what it was in the past. The one thing, and here's what I do tonight: give your family 1 hour, phone in another room, full attention, one genuinely present hour, watch what it does. I found it hugely impactful. Here's what I want you to sit with. I named my business after my son. It was always supposed to be for my family. I don't want the people that I'm building it for to get the least of me. They deserve more than the leftovers. And so do yours. See you next week.